My name is Michelle Jimenez. I am a KIPP alum from the class of 2014, a first-generation DACA college graduate from Texas State, and mother to my beautiful son, Santiago. At 18, I had not thought much about where I came from or how my parents' journey to a better life would affect my dreams. It wasn't until I was applying for colleges sitting in front of a computer screen and was asked for those 9 digits, my social security number. I went home and naively asked my parents what my social security number was. My parents looked at each other with anguish and hesitantly told me for the first time in my life that I was undocumented. I will never forget the look on their faces and the fear I felt in realizing that my dreams relied on these 9 digits. But I was lucky progress was being made with DACA, and my parents were keeping up with it every step of the way. I was able to apply and be granted my DACA card shortly before graduation, allowing me to work and commute from studies with much more ease. I was approaching some uncharted territory when it came to college. However, something that KIPP fostered in me that helped me, my North Star, as some may say, were their values. The value of tenacity was one that I held on to. I distinctly remember a saying we had at our high school. If you've ever been to a KIPP school, you know about the inspirational quotes that are posted everywhere. This quote was from Nana Karobi, and it read, "Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. This quote stood out to me, and I took it with me through college. You'll understand why as I tell you more about my journey. After graduating in 2014, I went to Texas State University as a non-traditional student. I was granted a full scholarship that covered tuition and books, but not room and board, which is why I had to commute from Austin on a daily basis. My first class started at 8 a.m. and my last one ended at 8 p.m. My family could not afford to purchase me a car, and so my mom took 2 hours a day to drive me to and from school. My mother, who was also working at the time, sacrificed this, among other things, to ensure that I went to and through college. By the second semester, my family was able to buy my first car, a $500 car that was worth the $500 we bought it for, and not a penny more. My first year and a half, I did not do well. The transition was an abrupt one. I was not fully immersed in the college experience and environment as a commuter and first-gen student. I struggled with studying skills and advocating for myself with professors. Living at home and being a young woman of a traditional Hispanic household, my parents didn't understand that to get involved in campus activities and have a full college experience, I had to spend more time on campus and less time at home. I had to respect their rules, which meant limiting my time on campus, the time I had to attend study groups, office hours, and making use of resources. I was also working late nights at a part-time job. These factors led to me failing my classes, being placed on academic probation, and ultimately, academic suspension. After a few of the lowest weeks of my life, I remembered that quote on the KIPP walls, "Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. I reached out to my KIPP counselor, Rosa Gutierrez, for help. Throughout my first semesters, Rosa reached out to me consistently to check on me, but I was too ashamed to share with her what was truly going on. The moment I filled her in, she stepped into action and helped me transfer to Austin Community College, where I learned about social work and fell in love with the profession. Rosa is someone that motivated and pushed me to reach for more and challenge myself. Without her direction and advice, I wouldn't have made it back to Texas State, had 2 years of internship experience with a Fortune Global 500 company, or even have the privilege of sharing my story with all of you here today. Rosa also showed her support during my first year back when I learned I was pregnant. This news, although a blessing, was a big turbulence in my life, especially with my traditional family. But again, I remembered, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. While I was pregnant, I worked part-time and attended school full-time. My son, Santiago, was born in July of 2019. The last 3 semesters at Texas State as a new mom were equally as challenging. But not only was I able to persevere through these obstacles, I received a 4.0 every semester I was back at Texas State. I was a non-traditional college student in so many ways, which made my mountain climb that much steeper. But with the tenacity that I learned from my parents and KIPP, I had the lessons I needed and shoulders to lean on to stand strong. It's because of them, supporters and believers of our mission, like all of you here today, that I had a solid ground to stand on. Thank you.